Hi guys, my name's Anthony Cummins and I'm a historical researcher and author, and just in case this video goes, to many people instead of the few hundred and 1,000 that normally watch my videos, I want to just support this. I'm an independent author and that's how I make my money. So basically, if you want to support me, it's Old Japan, Secrets from the Shores of the Samurai, a really easy book to read about samurai culture, a bit of fun facts and tidbits and things like that. However, for a bit of a break today, guys, from my normal thing, which is usually samurais and ninjas and all that sort of stuff, I'm going to show you how I've been making natural grape juice, not grapefruit juice, grape juice. Now, I've been blackberry picking today. We're in early September, so let me just bang these in there. So what I'll do is take you through how I've been making grape juice, because my neighbours have been growing grapes for years. And but they have lots of seeds and pips in them, so they have basically let me use their stuff. So I'm going to take you through it now, and I'm going to chat to you while I do it. Don't subscribe to this channel if you only want natural living. This is a little bit of a break video for me because I've just been on holiday. For my normal subscribers, I'll be back next week with more Japanese stuff, but as I've just finished my holiday, I need to sort of catch up a bit. So there we go, blackberries I picked. I'm going to divide them into things that can be eaten and things that need squashing for juice. So we're here at my neighbour's garden, which is one of the nicest gardens I've seen. It is gorgeous. Let me take you up, chaps. Look at that for nice. So I've moved out to the middle of Wales because I actually want to have a mixture between the old life and the new life. And I'll get into this in a minute. But I don't believe that people should basically only be strict, sort of like eco-warriors or absolute petrol heads, burn whatever they want, take whatever they want. So what I'm going to do first is get some tay berries here, I think they are, and then we're going to move on to the grapes. Okay, so tay berries they are not raspberries, they are tay berries, I think, but they're definitely not raspberries. So this is where we are at the moment. We're going to get these grapes here. So let me open this. So let me get in. As you can see, I've been taking over the last few weeks from here, and you can see where I'm at, but I've not done that bit yet. So let's have a look at getting this bit done. Right guys, here's my hoard. How cool is that? So there's tons of them. I've got tayberry, I've got grapes, and at home I've got blackberries. So let's go. This is why I love living in the UK. I'm sure you guys, cousins out there, and by that I mean, fellow Westerners in America, you do all this as well. Let me know what types of things you get up to out there, and anybody else in any other part of the world, what do you do? But I'm really trying to pull my life to get more. When I was a kid, there was loads of orchards and things. We used to get apples and pears. It was free. And now you go to the supermarket and you're like, 4 apples, £800. You're like, what? You know what I mean? So where did those days go? So I'm trying to recoup those days. Not recoup them, promote them is what I'm trying to do. So let's go home and have a look. So unfortunately, in the UK, you can't have grapes without either living in a hot place in the UK, which is quite rare, or having a greenhouse. But people tend not to have greenhouses anymore, so that's a well-established grapevine. So right, let's go back home. I love sundials, so that is mint, isn't it? There was an old TV program in the UK called The Moon Dial, which is I bought recently on DVD the last few years. That was really good. But let's get out of the side gate and get back down the country roads. So this is where we'll live. That's Millie's house. She's actually a practitioner of Reiki. So if you want a Reiki session in Wales, there you go. But that house is probably from the 16 or 1700s. It's always hard to date houses in Wales because they just built them the same from like about the 1700s all the way to pretty much the 20th century. You didn't start getting brick houses till 1900 here. So this is my local neighbourhood. There's a river down there, and basically we all have a lovely sort of community spirit here. Unfortunately, my village has a major road going through it. That's why I think it used to be a village. So, but now it's got a major road going through. You see the fires have started. This is my house, so I do my berries and everything there, but the yield is not good enough yet. It's only a couple of years old. I've been here 4 years, but the garden's only been sort of in place for a couple of years. I get my mint tea from there. And from there I get mint and lemon balm tea from those, and the rest of them, as you can see, they don't really produce loads at the minute. Strawberry plants and all that. For those who follow me on Japanese stuff, the House of Natoryu. This one's going to have my dojo name there. It's got my name on the door. So guys, I've got my colander. I've got a big pot. I've got my bottle. And all I need is a bowl, and I'll show you the bowl in a minute. So what I'm going to do now is divide them into edible and squashable. Right, so basically I'll talk to you for a couple of minutes while I'm doing that. But I'm going to have to work out which ones are edible and which ones are squashable. So basically, when I was a kid, there was tons and tons of orchards. Now I thought, oh, this must be me just remembering it, you know, like in a romanticized dream of, you know, good old merry old England. But it turns out it was true. I lived on a land that had a couple of acres in it, and basically there was tons of apple trees, pear trees, loads of stuff, and it wasn't. Oh, I just got myself stung. It wasn't in my imagination. So I looked it up on the old interweb, and it turns out that in the 1980s, the orchards of the UK were almost destroyed by like 80% because people were just cutting them down. It was the 90s, 80s and 90s. So people are like, you know, we're in the time of the Matrix, the plastic bag, the sort of, you go to the supermarket, it's cool, things from, you know, abroad, and traditional things are just boring and old and all that sort of stuff. So it was very much, we just like got rid of that culture. And now like we've come past that and we've gone on to a further bit, and you sort of go, hold on a minute, where's all the free food that we used to get? There was tons of it. And I feel really, really annoyed now having to go to the supermarket and be like, buy a pear or buy an apple. Who buys apples? That's just, you know, that was back in the day. You never would do that. So anyway, what I tried to do, not to bore you to death, but what I'm trying to do is hopefully promote and return people to that way of life where, so you've got the post-World War II, where people are growing everything, dig for victory and all that, and you've got to grow everything, and just to, you know, help support. But we forgot that, and we got rid of that, and we chopped all the orchards down. So what I'd like to do is return to a bit of that. But what I don't like is people who are like, oh, you've either got to be full vegan or full vegetarian, or you can say you get petrol heads who are like cans of Coke, throwing it on the side, and you're like, no, there's a middle point, there's a middle ground. Like the Buddha said, there's a middle point somewhere. So what I'm trying to do is make my life as a middle ground as possible, meaning that I'm a modern person, I'm a man from the modern age, and I get flights to Japan and I study Japanese things, and I absolutely probably got a big carbon footprint. But I also, as you can see, use loads of wood. Now this wood is not bought. I do buy some starter wood, but my wood is sourced locally. Sourced locally, very cool word, isn't it? But what I mean by that is I go and rob it from all the area around, from all when the workers cut all the trees down, they just leave them on the side. So I then go at night and get all the stuff. But I was told by a Greenpeace guy that basically wood will give you a 0 carbon footprint. I don't know how true this is, but what it means is that the tree absorbs carbon dioxide. So when you burn it, it gives out the exact same amount of carbon dioxide, and therefore you are running a 0 carbon dioxide footprint. Is that true? I don't know. Somebody please, you know, tell me down below. But he got really annoyed with me, like proper annoyed, because for 2 months of the year, which is December, January, or January, February, I use coal. Now, I only buy 2 months worth of coal. I used to buy 12 months of coal, but now I only buy 2 because it's warm enough to just get away with wood. But when winter comes, no, there's no way my wood supply would last. in throughout January. No way. It is freezing. It is proper freezing here, like to the point where you're crying. So no. So he had a go at me for that. I thought, well, hold on a minute, 10 months is much better than 0 months. You know what I mean? Surely. So anyway, I'm not going to harp on too long because I want to get on with this. So the moral of the story is you don't have to be all the way this way. You don't have to be all the way that way. Why don't we just meet in the middle and do something? So for example, instead of going buying a box of juice, I've had a lovely walk, got some blackberries, and I have, with the help of my neighbours, got some grapes, and I am going to enjoy my afternoon. Instead of watching television, I'm going to do this. I'm not working now for the rest of the day, and apart from making YouTube videos, and I'm just going to enjoy it. And there I will basically have exercise by walking. I'll have fresh fruit, organic, about as organic as you could ever possibly get. And also I'll be helping the environment and all that malarkey, but at the same time learning old skills. And I'm then going to watch my iPad later, Netflix or Prime or something on my iPad, because I'm a person of the modern era. So what do you think about that? Right, that's 5 minutes of me harping. I shall now get on, finish this, and show you basically the squashy bits. So what I'm doing now is I'm basically squeezing out these. And what I use is my bowl. And I just squeeze the bowl down into the colander. And obviously, sorry guys, and it drips out the juice. There we go. And you won't get loads of blackberry juice, but it's really dark and nice and everything. And it looks like you're killing people, ripping out lungs and all that. Ah! It's good fun. So we got some blackberry juice, as you can see in there. Sorry, I can't really tip it up. It's going to go. Let's have a quick gander. So you got some blackberry juice in there. But what I'm going to do with the rest of it, so that's the sort of the bit that's been squeezed out, and there's still loads of juice left in it, but I'm going to then mix that with ice cream and have ice cream and blackberries later. So the next step is I've got to go through all this, remove all the leaves, throw all the leaves outside on my compost heap, and then literally just pick them off like that and get everything off. And you don't mind, you can break them, screw with them, and then you do is just throw that to the side, and then bit by bit the juice will fall through, but you'll still have whole grapes there. Right, so guys, I've got my lavender up there, so that's lavender drying. Gonna make my socks smell nice. So what we've got here is all the mushy tayberries, all the blackberries, and all I do is just literally, I'm gonna get it all over the iPad. So I'm just squeezing it, guys. I can't hold the iPad down while doing this because I'm just full of juice. So as you can see, I'm just squeezing it. There we go. Like somebody's head. Ugh. I loved Halloween as a kid and Christmas. Do you know Christmas is the correct time for ghost stories? If you're wondering what the music on is, the background, if you can hear it, is The Wicker Man. Let me know if you've ever seen The Wicker Man, one of the best films ever made. And I do not mean Nicolas Cage's daft version, which is one of the worst films ever made, but Christopher Lee, The Wicker Man. So let me know. So what I'm going to do now is get a bowl and squash that down. So got my bowl. I'm just going to literally, I'm applying pressure. Oh, and I've got to be careful not to crack the bowl. To be fair, I've done that before. I'm not doing this, but put too much pressure on a bowl, it cracks, doesn't it? Right, so I'm just going to do that now, guys, finish off, and I'll show you where I'm up to. Right, next step is I've got a glass bottle here. It is a water bottle, but that seems to have come off somewhat. I'll have to scrape it off one day. So I've got a glass bottle, and let's try and see if we can get you to... It's actually got a little bit of yesterday's juice in it, so I finished it yesterday. It should be all right. So Oh, can I get a little bit more in? Oh, nearly. Here we go. Right. So, that's that bit. But what I've done is, there's always a little bit. I usually get 1 bottle of water and 1 bottle of juice. I have about that much grapes. So, and a little bit of blackberries. So I've put this in the freezer. So that's just come in the freezer so it can quickly cool the last of the juice. Can't see anything, probably recipe for disaster. I'm trying to get you guys to see it. There we go. So some of the bits that have splashed through. Now you've got to be careful, guys, not to be indelicate, but you've got to be careful because this is a laxative. So if you drink too much of it, you'll be going to the bathroom somewhat. So I do apologise for the crude nature of the conversation, but don't drink too much. It's the same with when you eat too many plums, stuff like that. So there we go. That's that bit done. Let's put that over there. That's that. So that is the juice I got out of a basket of grapes and half a bowl of, well, a quarter bowl of blackberries, and I've obviously got the last of the blackberries and taberries that are edible, as in like they're table ready, they're not squashed. So I've got them, and I'll show you what I've made in a minute. So there it is, guys. That is basically a couple of hours of picking, squashing, having fun, listening to music. It's not a video I do normally. I do them about once every 8 or 9 months because most of the time I'm doing Japanese history. But here we have, that is the edible berries, like tabletop edible. We've got the squashed berries with honey and ice cream, and we've got the grape juice ready to go. And guys, don't forget, if you want to support the work I do, it's all Japan secrets from the shores of a samurai. So let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope, let me know about what you know about carbon emissions, things like that. Again, as I show you, that's my poster on the types of wood that you can use in a fire with all the folklore behind it. That's the lavender I'm drying off, Japanese tea, coffees. That's my tea shelf over there. So everything's really coming together in this house. Just need more book sales, hint, hint. So enjoy, guys, and I look forward to reading your comments. I'll be back to Japanese stuff next week.